Hello everyone and welcome to episode 183 of the Xbox Hall of Gamers podcast. This week I'm joined by Cameron.
You said pause for 3 seconds, right?
I did not say pause. I specifically said do not pause at all. Alright, well this week I'm joined by Keo. Hi Keo.
Hello. Hi. How you doing?
I'm glad there's just you and I on the podcast this week. It makes a nice change. Cameron might show up at some point. I don't know. He seems to be delayed, you know.
The pod isn't even showing for me at the moment.
Oh, well.
So. It was up before, so...
Red Ninja Dan's here.
Oh, now it is. There we go.
Why is there an empty square where Cameron usually is? Yeah, I know, right? I left him there just in case. He might show up at some stage. He might just come into frame, but I could just turn off his video feed. As always, we do the show live on Twitch. Xbox Hall of Gamers is the place to find us. It's wonderful. And Cameron, you know that breaks the whole overlay, right? Now I'm you.
No. Oh, no.
So yeah, come say hi, hang out in the chat.
Break it, we just stop smoke.
It completely fucking breaks it. Because it's all fucking alphabetical and shit. Otherwise I have to change my name. You know what? We're just gonna get straight into it. I don't care how you guys are doing. I'm not gonna ask you any questions. We're just getting well. Cameron, you have a community question here anyway. Community question from Cameron. Which game did you put down only to pick up later and love? Cameron, I mean, obviously you had something in mind when you pitched this question. What do you got?
I think I did have something in mind. I completely
forgot. Well fucking done. Absolute professionalism. Maybe I should have used... Yeah.
There you go.
I haven't checked the show notes this week, and then I'm just like...
You're the one who asked the question. It was like, it's your name. I literally have your name on there.
I've had a week where I cannot remember asking the question. Games that I've come back to that I've really enjoyed. I had a reason that I picked this. Maybe Hot Wheels Unleashed.
Hot Wheels, okay. Like not the more recent one, right?
the modern ones. The modern ones.
Yeah, right.
Only because I probably went off a Forza binge and then going to that and then being like, okay, so probably the reason that I asked this question was there's going to be games. A big conversation I've had in my workplace this week is playing games that define a genre. So using Silksong for an example,
Metroidvania.
Divine Metroidvania, right?
Sure. Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, modern maybe.
And then conversations from a marketing sense of the games over the last few years that I think are Game of the Year contenders are picking a genre and doing it exceptionally well. Expedition 33 redefines what the turn-based is, as well as... oh my god, why am I blanking on the name? Game of the Year, like 2 years ago. Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, okay, sure. For like the CRPG genre, bringing it into the modern day, making changes, becoming the kind of de facto game that people refer to within a genre these days. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of games over the last few years are just either redefining a genre or pushing it forward into a different way. Silksong and all that, you could say it's still a Metroidvania and all that, but the arts... Like, how do you upgrade a Metroidvania, for example? Like, do you just add more?
How do you modernize something like... Yeah, how do you go from Symphony of the Night to Hollow Knight, I guess? Or I guess maybe even a more contemporary version of that. How did Symphony of the Night change into something like Bloodstained? It was made by the same person, 30 years later.
So yeah, I've been having a lot of the conversations that week, but then you'll have... To me, a lot of games now that aren't doing well are games that are trying to explore new genres. And I feel like they're not picking up audiences the same way, but they're more passion projects that are developed by smaller teams, which is usually the case with indies.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of conversations around that this week. Going back to the original question though, I don't know. I'm sure there's a few games that I have just went, all right, this doesn't match my current mood. And I know this week I've spent majority of my time as Wheel World because I wanted to get that complete.
Yeah.
I'll talk about that later in games I've played. But I haven't found my... Like, I started up hurling today and I'm just like, I just can't push myself to get in the mindset I need to to play this game.
Yeah, which is fair, right? Like I've definitely got a bunch of, like I have a huge backlog of stuff that I'm sitting there that I've bought, and I've tried to be a lot better myself about being like, all right, if I buy a game, I'm gonna download it immediately and start it as soon as possible. And like if I buy 2 games, I'll start one and then I'll probably start the next one straight afterwards. And I've been trying to be doing that. So like 2 of the things I've been playing this week are things that I recently bought. But it has been like, yeah, sometimes you just sit there and you're like, I'm just not in the mood for this. Like, this could be the best game ever, but it's just not gelling with how I'm feeling right now about either my life or my mindset, or even just kind of like the kind of game that I want to be playing right now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, well, in saying that, I have pretty much the perfect game that just left Game Pass, Borderlands 3. So, my experience with Borderlands in co-op has largely been, Borderlands 2 has like a huge open world and there's no car stations to go get a car, and 2 people you're playing with drive off and you have to leg it through the rest of the map because they didn't come back and get you, kind of deal.
Yeah.
To stuff like Borderlands 3 originally taking way too long, over way too many months to finish. I recently went back and I was just playing the PC version before it left Game Pass. Didn't get that finished, but just playing through by yourself at your own pace is a lot more enjoyable, kind of with that particular game set. I think just the design of it. So I mean, because you're just doing your progressive upgrading. There's no somebody's overpowered, so you're getting bored or whatever. And like they fixed it a little bit with the Borderlands 3 because it's got the competitive and the
you can kind of change it. Yeah.
So you can be like, somebody can be high level, but you're defeating enemies at your level or whatever. But then you're just sacrificing who's getting what weapons or whatever. But other than that, yeah, like had so much more fun this time around playing Borderlands 3. So
I enjoyed Borderlands 3 a lot more than I thought I was going to. But it is one of those ones that I had on the back burner forever until we got to. It was one of the things where if I'd played it by myself, I don't think I would have enjoyed it nearly as much as in a group.
Yeah, to the point where I'm like, maybe I should go back to the games that I had trouble with playing co-op and just try and just see if it's a little bit better, just cruising through. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to go through my list and I'm looking at games that I like started and then kind of dropped quite quickly and maybe came back to and just realized they were really, really good. But
yeah, there's been a couple, but I don't remember anything else. So it's kind of a bit tricky, I think.
I tend to be pretty good about trying to knuckle through, but I do definitely have some games that I've dropped and been like, I just don't. Yeah. It's just not gelling with me.
There's child update games as well that I'll... Like, you'll get the game done and it's like, I can't be bothered to go back to...
Sure. Yeah. I've definitely been better about that recently, but for sure, there's definitely some of those.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess one that comes to mind was Mirror's Edge Catalyst, actually. It's one that it was on sale like 1 million times. And like I would start it up and I think I did like a tutorial. I didn't even get through the tutorial because I don't think I unlocked an achievement in it. I played it for a little bit and I was like, this is just not... I'm just not feeling like I loved the original Mirror's Edge and I've still never finished it, but like it just wasn't gelling for me. And then, as often happens, they were like, hey, we're shutting down some of the servers for this. You better fucking do it. And I was like, all right, I'll sit down. I'll make some time for it. And I was like, this is fucking excellent. Like, it's really cool. It's got its problems still, but it was one of those ones that I was like, oh, actually, like I had a really like fun time playing through this. I'm trying to think if there's any others. Yeah, I don't know. Like I tried to, going back and doing Inquisition actually. Most recently, that was one that I put on the back burner for a very long time. I like did the sort of first area and just got tired of the kind of thing. But going back and playing it recently, even on Nightmare difficulty, I had a really good time with it. I mean, it definitely has problems, like big problems. I still can't believe it won a Game of the Year award when it came out, but I think that I definitely enjoyed that a lot more than I remember enjoying it again because I had played through the 360 version back in the day. But going through it again and kind of experiencing that story and kind of the stuff in between the grindy bits, like the actual narrative pieces, are actually still quite good. It's just a shame the rest of it's kind of a mess.
I'm just going through my list and just trying to find any that speak out to me. But
I had a good time.
I was just gonna say, if I ever go back to any of the games I don't finish, then I'll let you know.
Yeah, right. That's the other bit too.
Because I was comparing,
there's so many games out there, and
list.
like if they don't click with you, like there's so many other distractions or other things you could be playing. And I've been trying to get better about like not locking myself into a game that I'm absolutely fucking hating.
I know the game. It's Cuphead.
Yes, actually, you know what? That you're 100% right. Cuphead is that game for me for sure. Because when you went back and did it, and I was like, oh man, like I was like, I enjoyed Cuphead for the most part, but when the DLC came out and the new characters, and I kind of got back and I actually got good at the game, I really, really love that game for sure.
Because this, I remember the mindset I was in the other day. It was very much it wasn't like bagging out a game. It was just not being in the right mindset to tackle a particular game at a time. And I think with Cuphead is like, you can play it and you go, this is brutally hard.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can appreciate the art and the care that has been put into that game. And you look at it more as an art piece as opposed to a game.
Yeah.
Essentially.
For sure.
Like there's definitely games there too that I think are more on the art piece kind of side as opposed to the game kind of like side. Like I think Firewatch is more of a visual piece than a game.
Oh, sure. It is a walking simulator at the end of the day. Yeah, for sure. Like, it doesn't really even have puzzles in it or anything. It is really much about the sort of visual experience and the storytelling.
Other answer for this, which is another very difficult game, is Sitters.
Oh, okay, yeah.
There's that Sacrifice for Redemption, because I first played it with a Game Pass. I was like, okay, I was just trying to get the one achievement, and then when I went back to it over that Christmas break, I really started digging into it and just I got it done in like a week or so.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I'm just looking through my list here. I've got like GTA 5 actually is probably a good one to throw a 360 version. When they were shutting that down, I was like, I've done none of the multiplayer for this. So I just went and did it. Like I was like, well, I need to get this done. So let's just do it. And like, so I got into like heists and like did all the level grinding and stuff, and actually had like a really good time doing all the heists and the missions and everything, and like all that stuff that was the kind of experience that you hear about for something like GTA 5 that I just never experienced because it wasn't my bag. But I had to do it because I had it on the 360. And I was like, oh shit, this is actually, I get it. I'm starting to like feel that thing of like, oh, this is really, really fun. I can understand why people get so addicted to it.
Yeah, I spent so many years playing that game with like a specific set of friends. So yeah. So, and that was like just legit, just grinding out like the levels, and I mean, I ended at about 100 and something where the achievement kind of stops anyway.
Yeah,
like that's kind of like that closing point. But yeah, it's a good time.
One more I've got before we move on. Wolfenstein 2, actually. and like
I was just thinking of it.
Yeah, and like obviously I'll never finish it, right? But the thing is, like going back, because I did that game initially, and I finished my first playthrough on the story on like easy, and then my collectible achievement glitched, and I was like, I'm gonna have to restart this whole fucking game if I'm gonna get that. So I had so much other stuff. Like I got to the end of the story, but there's so much other side stuff to do in that game, and I just didn't do any of it. And I put that game on the back burner forever until I kind of got to be in my bonnet about it, and just kind of was like, fuck it, you know what? We're gonna go through and we're gonna clean up as much as we can of this. And like I'm down to like 3 achievements left in that game, I think. Like, yeah, I got all the collectibles, did as much of the DLC as I could. Like, I have 1 level left in the DLC that I need to do on Mine Laban, and then it's just the Mine Laban achievement itself, and then I'm done with that game. And I probably will never actually finish it. Like, I might do that DLC at some stage, because it was part of that DLC event that we were doing. But, yeah. But to be fair, going back and playing that game, and playing it on hard, and, like, just doing all of it, and not worrying about the Mine Laban stuff, it was still, like, a really, really cool game. I mean, I still think that it's not nearly as good as the New Order, but I definitely... New Order is like... Yeah. New Order is a 10 out of 10 game. It's great.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I want to... I want to raise one. Sorry, not raise another game, but I want to say if I can beat Wolfenstein 2 complete next year, that is my challenge for you. If I can do it, you have to.
Yeah. I mean, good luck.
Yeah, because that is the one game I want to complete next year.
That'd be amazing.
Okay, how
it might take you the whole year, but I would love to see it.
Anyway. I don't know. I got a few games next year that I got planned.
Yeah, I'm digging through my list, and I was like, oh boy, I still have 185 games here that I've started that I should finish or try and finish. But
I need to make sure that those 24 games that I picked for next year, though, are still above a 5.0 ratio.
Yes, you definitely check that. Yeah, for sure.
I don't want to do one and realize it's dipped.
Well, I mean, me on Monster World, actually, Monster Hunter World has gone below a 5, and I was doing it because it was above a 5.
Oh, so, right. Interesting. I wonder if people people from who've been playing Wilds are like, I want to get into.
They've gone back and done a bit of Worlds, but hey, maybe it's just me playing the game and actually getting my achievements.
Could be.
Done it. So.
Could be.
Mm-hmm.
You just becoming a beacon for people to go back to that game. All right. Any others before we? Yep.
I was going to say, I just want to see Kyo complete every single Capcom game that ever comes out, you know?
Oh, yeah, I was looking at their list, 98 games or something, and I've got some achievements that are not obtainable anymore.
There's a lot of Street Fighter bullshit in there that I'm not, there's no way I would want to have anything to do with.
Lost Planet?
Yes. Fuck me. Yeah, Lost Planet, that's the one that...
Yeah.
I should go back and do some of that. Lost Planet 1.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to our next question from our wonderful question asker, Red Ninja Dan, who says, with the release of Pokemon Legends ZA around the corner, which I don't know if you guys have seen the stuff for that, but man, it looks rough. I'll be honest. I don't understand how Nintendo basically seems to give Game Freak negative money to make these games. But some of the texture work just looks absolutely shocking for a game for the biggest franchise on Earth.
Can I ask a side question for a second?
Yes, I may have one quick side question.
Do people still... Obviously, Pokemon cards and that is major thing and all that. Is it just all collecting now, or do people actually still play the trading card game?
I think it's mostly collecting these days, because everyone saw it as an investment. If you do it by bulk of people who own Pokemon cards. I don't know anyone who plays a trading card game. I don't think it has that kind of popularity like Magic does.
Yeah.
I was really confused. I don't really look at Pokemon cards that closely, and I saw the HP values, and I'm just how is this still balanced? How is any of this balanced anymore?
It's not because no one gives a shit about the game itself. It's all about just the money that the cards are worth now, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely drawn people back to collecting cards like Magic and stuff like that.
Yeah, for
sure, and getting into card games. But I mean, the cards are so rare. Everything goes online. We get a handful of packs in store, and they all go online the first day.
Yeah,
it's you have to buy them online and maybe get them. So
and I get it, right? The Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy collaboration happened a few months ago, and I nearly bought a fucking ridiculously expensive Final Fantasy pack because I was they had the Final Fantasy 10 stuff with all the cards in it, and I was oh, that would have been so fucking cool. I was I never would have played the game. I would have just put them in sleeves and just looked at them and been man, I got a really cool Yuna and Titus and all that kind of stuff. But again,
tempted to just buy a booster pack one.
Yeah, sure, something like that, right? There was a starter pack that came with a bunch of cards that you kind of knew what you were going to get.
Yeah.
But in terms of the actual playing of those games, I don't know. I feel you hear more about people collecting it because it's a moneymaker than anything else. But yes, back to the question. With the release of Pokemon Legends ZA around the corner, what Pokemon would you guys have on your team if you can have a team of 6 in real life? His would be Gardevoir, Chikorita, Azurill, Espeon, and Iron variant Salamence. 2, 3, 4, 5. That's only 5, I think. But anyway. Or Iron Valiant. Anyway. I put a meme one in there, and I think only one person got the joke that it was all the quote unquote sexy Pokemon.
I knew I was not feeding into that. I don't want to end up only
So are you talking about Tangela?
look, to be fair, I don't know. Like, I know the names of like maybe 2 of those Pokemon that are in there.
Listen, I saw a Vaporeon and I immediately knew what
of course you knew what was going on, right?
Like, when I was a child, man, Jinx, I tell you.
Jesus Christ, yeah, that's that's one of the banned episodes, right? The ones with Jinx as Santa. That was
Oh man,
yikes.
Yeah.
So. I mean, to be fair, in my opinion, like I don't know many of the Pokemon these days because I'm so out of the loop. I mean, this is probably more a question for my wife, but I think was it Professor Pluto said that he only believes in the first 251, which is the first 2 regions. Which
That's fair because I would have pulled from the first 150.
Yeah, 150 is probably what I would have started with. Although to be fair, my first Pokemon was Gold, so that was Johto region, so second generation. But I went back and played Blue after that. So
yeah.
If I was gonna pick a Pokemon, I mean, I was always a big fan of like Sandslash. Sandslash was a cool one. I just like the design. What else was a good one? I feel like you have to have a dragon of some kind, so probably a Charmander, like Charizard sort of scenario, something with wings.
Jeez.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
I mean, I'd have the most phallic-looking Unknown Pokemon.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Whichever one is that. So.
Yeah, one of the unknowns.
What 6-letter profanity can I spell out with all the
unknowns? I mean, anything. You could just like you could just have the penis team. I mean, that's Yeah, I don't know, but also like the idea of having them in real life, I feel like it would be a huge fucking pain in the ass because like they're huge animals, right? Like having a Charizard would be cool if I wanted to fly somewhere, but also their tail is on fire. They'd fucking burn everything all the time. So it's like most of the ones I would pick would probably be like boring ones, like boring small ones. Like I don't know, you get like a Totodile.
I mean, I picked mine off like what I'd really want, which I don't. What is it? Scorchase is the final evolution of Scorbunny into Reboot into Scorchase.
Sure.
And Percy's favorite Pokemon, she's always loved, is Scorbunny.
Mm-hmm.
And the first year that I wanted to get her a Scorbunny plush for Christmas, we couldn't find it. We could only find a Reboot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we ended up getting that one, and then for whatever reason, we've just done French-Canadian Reboot every time she wants this plush to talk.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest are like Dragonite, Umbreon. I feel like Eevee's one of my favorites. I've got to have some kind of evolution.
Yeah,
Scizor
yeah.
And Lapras.
Like Umbreon's pretty cool, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Allison's a big
fan.
Yeah,
and
Sylveon and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
In all honesty, I would probably just have an evolution team of different forms of Eevee.
Sure. Yeah.
If I'm being 100%.
I'm sure that would probably be a pretty popular choice, except for Flareon, because no one likes Flareon. Flareon's the worst one.
Yeah, yeah. I'd go for like Aerodactyl maybe.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely have a Metapod. 100%, right? So, and I'd never ever evolve it.
Just that you just have just a cocoon just sitting there. You're like, well,
hell yeah,
doesn't do anything.
So you're level 9 bug trainer.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, you could just have all legendaries. You could do like a Lugia. You could do like some Entei or like one of the legendary dogs or.
Yeah. Look.
Hello.
Yeah.
Moltres.
And you know what? Arcanine's pretty cool as well. Like, I have a dog Pokemon.
I feel like Dragonite would be a cool one to have as well.
Yeah.
I feel like, but also like I'm just thinking about size. Like, where would you let? It's like, I gotta let the Pokemon out. It's like, well, I can't have a fucking Wailord, can I? Like, that's not gonna work. So it's like, well, okay, I guess I'm restricted to like things that would fit in my house. So small Pokemon, maybe like a Furret or something. I don't know. Like Pokemon that are just basically animals, except like different colors or whatever.
Oh, yeah. I would 100% have a Porygon with only the Flash.
Porygon, yeah. That's
with only the Flash move.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Just to give people seizures. Yeah, I remember that episode.
Yeah.
Maybe a Chansey or something. I don't know, something nice. Because I feel like a ghost Pokemon would be kind of a downer.
Actually,
like a Gengar would be cool as fuck, but like,
yeah. Do you want nightmares? Yeah.
Exactly. I'm like, I don't know, not necessarily want a ghost Pokemon in my fucking house. Like, I don't want it to end up like Lavender Town, you know? Like,
I'm trying to think what would be the most practical Pokemon. Like, you could like run a business, or you could
Pikachu.
have...
Like anything with the electric type. Like, you literally a living battery. Like,
what? You just go into being a trading.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, yeah. I'll call it Sparky. I'll get it a tool belt, and we'll fucking go into business.
Well, what's that Pokemon that looks like an ice cream then? You know?
Oh yeah.
The keys Pokemon.
The key.
Just go into the locksmith.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just open. Yeah, it's the possessed keys. Again, that's a ghost Pokemon, but it's like, yeah, I want the chandelier Pokemon for some fucking reason. I don't know. Yeah.
I'm trying to.
I mean, like, the obvious answer should be like a Ditto, right? Dittos are cool. Like, they can turn into anything. So, like,
yeah.
Like, does a Ditto's ability work on like real life animals? Can I see a cool cat that I like and just like, cool, turn into that cat?
Look, you can have a different body pillow every day.
Exactly. Yeah, get a Ditto, commit identity fraud. Exactly. All right. Well, hopefully that doesn't answer your question at all, Dan, because I don't fucking know. Because I feel like the idea of having a Pokemon in real life is, first of all, a little bit too close to dogfighting, but also, but also just wildly impractical for some of the larger ones that would actually be the coolest ones to have. I also feel like they would just end up in a zoo because, like, what the fuck would, like, you just like, oh, hey, cool, look, I got this fucking, I have a dragon, I've got Detective Pikachu here. But I do like Alison's suggestion.
Apparently lay eggs.
Alison's suggestion of Jigglypuff to help with sleeping. I think it'd be a good one. It does just remind me though of that picture of the trainer who's is like, yeah, cuddling with your Pokemon. It's cute when it's a Pikachu, but when it's like a Machamp, that's a dude, man. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
6 Dittos.
Just 6 Dittos. All right.
6 Dittos.
Okay.
And Bank Heist. Just
Bank Heist. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. 6 Dittos, 5 Dittos, and a Mew, because Mew also has Transform. So you just the Mew is the ringleader. He's the guy in charge. He's the Clive Owen, and he basically organizes the whole thing because he's smart. All right,
we did it.
And 1 Pikachu as a detective.
Yeah, the other team has a Pikachu. Yeah, exactly. They have varieties of Pikachu. They got a Alohan Pikachu. They got one that's surfing. They got one that's a detective. The one that's flying on balloons. And then they have the original real chubby Pikachu that's the super cute one. All right. Let's get into the news. There's not a huge amount of it this week, but Call of Duty is apparently going to be a film. What is it going to be about? Who the fuck knows? Does anyone remember any Call of Duty stories?
I mean, there was one in space with a satellite and stuff.
There was one with like shooting tungsten rods into the earth or some shit. Kevin Spacey was in one of them. We don't talk about that. I don't know. I mean, like,
is it sad that I was going to say, is it sad that I spent an hour of my afternoon talking about Black Ops lore?
Yeah, it is actually quite sad. But to be fair,
I got paid for it.
Black Ops, to be fair, was probably the one that would make the most sense, right? I mean, considering Black Ops is the series that's the sub spin-off series, whatever you want to call it, that's kind of doing the numbers at the moment, so it would make sense for them to kind of try and pull that narrative. Do they do the first game or the second game, or I don't know.
It wouldn't be the first time that Call of Duty didn't have a campaign. Let's just say that.
True. So yeah, apparently there's a deal between Paramount and Activision, and Paramount are now doing. The deal apparently says that it encompasses the potential for Paramount to expand the COD universe across film and TV. So they'll probably do, this. Do they want to make the COD cinematic universe? Maybe. I mean, to be fair, if you were gonna pick a series with a lot of mostly recognizable characters, but enough room to kind of do whatever you want with it. You could there are worse picks than COD, to be fair. Skydance Media, who Paramount belong to now, apparently, like they also do stuff for like Mission Impossible and Top Gun and that kind of stuff. So like the military spy stuff is like, you know, like they have experience in that space. It is kind of interesting, but
yeah. So
we'll end up to gaming too.
True. Yeah. We'll end up with a Modern Warfare movie and a zombies TV show.
Well, that's like I think something like that would make sense, right? Like I feel like especially the reboot of Modern Warfare 1 lends itself relatively well to a 10 episode prestige television series or a Tom Clancy style movie or something. I don't know.
I think Black Ops 1 just serves so well as a story to adapt to film.
For sure. Well. Actually, like Black Ops 1 is a fantastic, like even the idea of like the numbers Mason and the whole like kind of conceit of that and the flashbacks,
like
sleeper agent stuff, and like it's classic like Cold War shenanigan bullshit that would actually work really, really well as a film. And like I would watch that for sure.
I'm curious though, if like for Black Ops 7, if they're using like Milo as David Mason, like whether there is a plan to get these actors involved in, like, you know, working on both projects moving forward.
Sure, I get what you mean. Yeah, like the sort of multimedia cross promotion.
As like you've played the game now, watch him on the big screen.
To quote unquote, old and beautiful that shit. So
yeah. I don't know.
Let's make a home and away Call of Duty show.
I could see that. Yeah. What is Ghost doing when he goes back home? When he takes off the mask?
Can I ask?
Exactly.
Have we had any multimedia projects where the actor has been both the protagonist in the video game as well as the movie?
Not officially. I mean, look, there's always the rumor that Cal Kestis is going to show up in live action any fucking day now, right? Like there's been
that's the one that jumps to mind, right? Yeah,
that's the one that again because that is all live, like motion captured throughout the game and that kind of stuff, and because they're kind of looking for what they're going to do with Star Wars. Yeah, the rumor is that like apparently after the third game, when they've kind of wrapped that story up and they have a bit more room depending on what happens, that they'll do something with him maybe, but who knows? Maybe the rumor is they might be working on something, but they've been pretty tight-lipped about it. I'm trying to think of anything, but like what kind of there was some stuff with Star Wars Battlefront 2. I can't remember her name, which is really bad of me. I should do, but she did the voice and the motion capture, and she's the face for the character. And there was some talk around like potentially she was going to do something else with that, but I don't think it did well enough for them to care. I don't know. Like Star Wars was one of those series that like works really well because it is a huge multimedia thing that spans video games and TV shows and animated stuff and movies. And even though they have their problems with them and they haven't put out a movie in a very long time, something like Andor, fits really well into that space where they can have characters from other shows show up. I mean, hell, in The Mandalorian, they had characters from like Rebels showing up, and Mandalorian's a live action show, so they did like live action versions of those animated characters, which was really cool. I mean,
apparently Kiefer Sutherland did 24 for the game and the TV series.
Right, yeah. There is also the stuff for like the likeness of a show that is the exact like an adaptation of that, which does make sense. A lot of the time they would at least get the voice actors in to do the lines for some, like they would be in their contractual agreements. Hey, you're gonna do trailers, you're gonna do promos, and we got a video game tie-in that you're gonna voice all the stuff for. That's gonna be similar to what you did on the show.
Because I think they had Alias as well that might have done that as well.
Oh, geez, I've thought about Alias in a long time. Yeah.
That was actually not a bad game.
Has Mark Hamill done the Joker in any of the games?
Yeah, he was in Arkham. Yeah, in the Arkham series. He did.
He was
all right. So then,
yeah.
Kind like not animated.
Sure. Yeah, he did. He went from animation to video games.
Two levels of media. So yeah.
And like what Tara Strong also did Harley, right? Like that's the same sort of thing. Yeah, like there's definitely a lot of crossover in that space. It's the live action piece that's always the interesting one. Like getting the same actor to play that character. I'm trying to think of a really good example of it, but yeah, nothing springs to mind. Because
I guess it's common when
it's common when you start off with a live action thing and you move to an animated form, whereas like the voice person doesn't always look like the character.
Yeah.
It's like, as much as Dante Basco likes to dress up as Zuko, like, it's, you know, like, yeah, I don't know, but
the only one, like, which isn't an exact 1-to-1, but like it is Norman Reedus.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Being a protagonist in a game,
Yeah.
but then also being a major protagonist in a TV show
in
as
Walking
well.
Dead, but he's also been in other stuff too, I guess. So I'm trying to think. Yeah, like, to be fair, like, if they did a if they did a Death Stranding TV show or movie or whatever, like, obviously Norman Reedus would just play the character. Like, 100%. Like, it makes sense.
I'm kind of wondering, like, how far are we off? Because it feels like the multimedia thing is, like, merging, you know, different projects and all that moving forward.
Yeah, I feel like it is, but I also feel like, you know, like, I think back to the original point there on, like, would they get an actor who plays a character in Black Ops to also be in a TV show about it or a movie, right? But the problem is that, like, those things are so rarely aligned in terms of release dates. We saw this with Fallout, right? Where it's like, the Fallout TV show came out, everyone was like, this is fucking amazing. Where's the next Fallout game? Crickets. Because they just didn't and like, it makes, like, asking it to line up is a huge task, right? Because, like, show gets delayed, game gets delayed, funding changes, things change, people aren't interested in it. Show does badly, but we still have a game. So what the fuck are we going to do? Like, I get it. Like, it's a big risk. But if they're going to do a Call of Duty TV series, right, or something, maybe it has the actor in there for a cameo, but there's no way they make them the main character unless they also have, you know, unless, like, this character spans multiple games or whatever. There are people who are far greedier than me who are planning all this stuff up and could have, like, flow diagrams and plans and all this kind of stuff because they have all the inside information. But I think back to the original like story. I'm definitely interested to see what they will do with COD because, like, COD is, I really enjoy the COD stories. Like, they're not super, like, you know, they're like 8 out of 10 popcorn things, right? Like, there's not. Look, I still remember, like, No Russian and things about, like, Modern Warfare 2 from back in the day, but that's the exception. Most of those missions are pretty forgettable. I don't know. I would love to see some of that stuff, though.
See, Modern Warfare, to me, and as a majority, is pretty forgettable. But when it comes to, like, Black Ops 3 is forgettable, don't get me wrong. But when it comes to, like, Black Ops 1 and 2, I think they're just so ingrained in my brain. Like, Black Ops 1 has so many, like, just the whole premise of the story is amazing. And then Black Ops 2 has, without giving anything away, the twists and that.
Yeah, the interesting back and forth between the timelines and stuff, and how that kind of works too. But, like, I still remember really well, like, Call of Duty 4, like, that Modern Warfare campaign, where it's like you start on the cargo ship, and it kind of all spins out from there, and you have that great perspective between, like, the SAS sneaky fucking, you know, British stuff going on where they're, like, you know, interrogating people, and then you have the URA Marines coming in there and they fucking set off a nuke in a city, and, like, it just all goes to shit. And, like, I feel like that's, like, that story is just so perfect for all that kind of stuff. And
yeah, totally. That's the stuff that I remember from Call of Duty. Like, I never even played most of the Black Ops stuff, and then kind of glanced over and got bored with the idea of the time manipulation, travel, whatever it is that was going on with the jumping around,
the 90s and stuff.
So,
But yeah, I think that it would probably be a safe bet to say the Black Ops series is probably what they're looking at right now, considering it's popular. And so if they were going to adapt something, I think the first Black Ops would make enough sense for the kind of audience who would go and see that movie, who are like, I fucking love that game back in the day. I'm now, you know, we're now 15 years long since that, or whatever, almost. It's the kind of thing that, like, resonates with people and be like, oh, cool. I remember playing a shitload of Black Ops when I was, like, a teenager or in my early 20s. I definitely want to go see what they do with that movie. And, like, I need, like, I remember bits of the story, but, like, I want to re-experience it again. It'd be cool to see it on the big screen. Like, I'd fucking watch that. Like, we would do that for Lights, Camera, and Action like that. That would be fucking fantastic.
Yeah. How would they modernize it?
Exactly. Yeah. What would they change? Like, how much of the Cold War stuff would still be in it? Anyway, but so yeah, that looks interesting. But again, we probably won't hear anything from this for a while. This is just another one of those, you know, video game film things. But they do also in the article point out that, like, obviously Paramount did the Sonic movie franchise, which has been hugely successful. But they also did Halo, so it's like could go either way. So I have another story here from the Indiana Jones devs, so from Machine Games. So obviously they're in the news a little bit with the latest DLC that just came out today, which is apparently quite good. I've seen a couple people complete it already. Apparently it's quite short. I'm thinking about picking it up, but I might wait for a sale. But I don't know if it ever will go on sale, so who knows. But there was some chat here from Indiana Jones, their design director, talking about Game Pass. So they had a bit of an interview. And so Jens Anderson basically was talking about how the challenges and kind of the idea of like building a game based on Game Pass, or not building it based on Game Pass, but building a game and realizing that it's going to come to Game Pass day one, and talking about how it's like the quote is basically that Game Pass players only jump in for 5 minutes, which again I think people are taking a little bit out of context. Like I think he meant that colloquially, not literally. But I think his point was that if you're going to make a game that's going to be primarily played on Game Pass, you need to have a really strong hook, like up front. Which is something I haven't really thought about, because I mean I just think about games in terms of pacing, because I play everything through Game Pass, and there's very little on that I'm gonna play for 5-10 minutes and go, oh no, I'm not interested, and jump off. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I was going to say, that's a subscription model for anything, though, right? Like, it's when you watch a TV show for the first time, it's like you want that first episode to hook you in.
Yeah, the pilot's got to be really good to hook you in, for sure.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if that's where, like, movie studios and that put a bit more of their budget to, like, really make sure the opening really hooks you in.
Yeah, strong pilot, lots of effects, lots of, like, really, like, money going into it, and then ending on a cliffhanger so they keep watching. That's like classic pilot behavior, right?
Well, I do understand where they're coming from with that. Like, where I mean, like the first 5 minutes is you playing through a scene from the movies, right?
Right, and that's exactly I think the point. Like, there's an interesting idea of. I know some people were kind of like not thrilled about that. They were kind of like, oh, it's kind of weird to kind of just retread that,
and it kind of just stops, and you're like, yeah, but I mean, like, you'd have to have that experience a lot more through the game for that to tie in well, right?
Sure, so do like flashback stuff or like
and it'd have to play well. I mean, like the first thing you do when you pick up a controller to play is you're using the controller. It doesn't feel good. You don't want to play it.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's less about what's happening. It's like your experience trying to play the game.
I mean, the fact of Indiana Jones too is like they immediately put you into a set piece which is familiar, which
it's like, a little bit nostalgia baiting.
Yeah, it's nostalgia baity, but you know what it's doing like straight away. You're getting a bit of function over the controls and the centralization,
sure.
but they're also giving you something nostalgic. Yeah.
It serves like a few different purposes, right? Like I think exactly. Like it gets people used to the idea of like, oh, this is an Indiana Jones thing. It allows them to show off what the game is compared to what the movie is, where it's like you get to see the thing and be like, oh, they built this, like they understand, like I would like, I think it's really cool, but I also would have liked maybe a slightly more interesting cold open, but still I think it's hard to beat. Raiders is just so fantastic.
I think it's one of those things.
Yeah,
they're trying to attract a new audience.
Yeah,
and that like if this is like, all right, what is Indiana Jones, and you've looked up a few TikToks and seen the big moments of the movies, then like maybe that's what's going to drag you in. Like,
what about the contrast with the Dark Souls games, where you basically die on the first boss because you have no idea what you're doing with the controls?
Yeah, and I think there's definitely an interest there, right? But I feel like I wonder if games that are coming to Game Pass, like, I've never really thought about like the idea of front loading a game. You know, maybe you do that when like demos were a bigger thing, and you'd have like a lot of strong opening games because you'd put that into a demo, and they're like the first hour of the game. It's like, oh, this is really cool. I want to go out and buy that. And so maybe we're kind of returning to that a little bit because demos kind of died because they realized they weren't actually increasing sales. It was more of a theoretical thing. And if anything, it was actually putting people off because people were playing it and being like, no, I'm good. And so now maybe it's like Game Pass is kind of bringing people back to that mentality a little bit of like having strong openings for games and thinking about that and making that a conscious choice in your development cycle.
Don't steal my idea, but which game has the strongest, most memorable opening of all time?
Oh man, the strongest opening of all time. Probably God of War 2. I think God of War 2 has a fucking fantastic. There was a comic. You guys know Penny Arcade, the comic, right?
Yeah.
So Penny Arcade's comic there was a whole thing where it's like, oh, what are you playing? It's like, oh, I'm playing God of War 2. And it's like, oh, what's going on? It's like, oh, well, I've just invaded it. The Spartans have invaded the city, and and I'm fighting the whole city, and the Colossus of Rhodes has come to life, and I'm killing it, and then I had to fight Zeus, and I was like, oh, cool. Like towards the end, it's like, this is the first fucking level. This is how the game starts, and like that game sets that tone of just like taking the first game and acting like, basically being like, oh yeah, we're gonna treat the beginning of this game like it was the end of the first game, like just balls to the wall, crazy shit happening immediately at a time when like this was on the PS2. We just didn't see things like that.
Yeah, true. Yeah. No, that God of War is a good shout because all of those games I think have really strong openings.
Yeah.
I think it was even the first one was it the first one you were doing the Hydra?
Yeah, the Hydra's the first level in that game. And the first level in the third game is you climbing Olympus with the Titans. Like those games have had really, really strong opens and then tend to kind of peter off a little bit. Red Ninja Dan says Mass Effect 2, which my wife definitely agrees with. Mass Effect 2 is a great opening.
Saints Row 4 was mine.
Yeah, actually, Saints Row 4 is a really good opening too.
Love that.
Yeah.
It sets the tone perfectly. The music kicking in just gives you like such a a rush.
Saints Row 4 is almost making fun of that though, right? Like it literally ends with I don't want to miss a thing and the fucking rocket and landing in the White House.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's almost parodying that kind of ridiculousness opening moment, but I love it. Yeah, I totally agree.
Fallout New Vegas is probably another really good one. Like just pulls you in straight away.
Yeah, I think so. New Vegas is a bit of an interesting one because it kind of takes the wheels off, like the training wheels off very quickly though. Like it's not. I mean, like the opening cutscene obviously is like you get shot in the fucking head, but. I don't know. I mean,
I'm just thinking of like that action straight up at the start of the story to like really, like, all right, I need to find out why this happened, kind of.
Yeah,
like, engross you in it.
That's fair. I think it is interesting. I don't know if it's like I think, but I'm trying to find something that's like interesting narrative wise as well as gameplay wise. Like Nier Automata has a pretty good opening.
I think was it Darksiders had a pretty good opening as well.
Oh yeah, with the apocalypse and you end up on Earth and just kind of the very first Darksiders. Yeah, agreed.
Mm-hmm.
The Metroids usually have a pretty good opening because it's usually before you lose all your powers, right? So you get to do some cool shit. Like Metroid Prime is a cool opening actually, where you like you're on the pirate base at the very beginning and you just kind of fucking find Mecha Ridley and all that sort of shit. A good opener for a game is kind of hard to find these days because I feel like a lot of games want to do the handholdy ramp up like they kind of take the tutorialization and they and again not built for that kind of like Game Pass immediate like dopamine thing. Want to get people into it quickly.
Let's settle people in before we give them the hard stuff kind of.
Yeah, sure, right.
This is the thing, right?
Yeah.
I got another example. Far Cry 3.
Yeah, actually, Far Cry 3 is a pretty good opening. Yeah, like you just kind of sneaking around and kind of sets the tone pretty well. I mean, for sure.
I'm just thinking of like story. I feel like this is very much like 360 Days with most of these examples. But I feel like the 360 Days was such a point where a game dev wasn't afraid to show tutorialization with a big set piece like Saints Row. Like
sure, yeah, right.
I mean, Fallout probably doesn't fit into that, but like Far Cry 3, for example, the stakes are like high at the start.
Sure, yeah, and they kill off one of the characters like immediately. It's
I mean,
Assassin's Creed 2.
I was just about to say Assassin's Creed. There is that era there of, and again, we're talking about some Ubisoft stuff here. It's like that era in those kinds of games before the open world stuff happens, and they have the more directed narrative piece where it's like, well, you have to go through these missions first before we let you into the playground. And some of those have the best stuff because you're like, this is really interesting. And then the kind of the open world glut happens, and you're like, oh fuck, all right, well, whatever. Which I know, again, some people love, which I'm not. I'm just not one of those people. But
yeah. I mean, Final Fantasy X. So
yes,
the cutscene for that.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking Final Fantasy X.
I remember renting that from, I think it was like Video Easy or something at the time, and then getting to like Otherworld and just like getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
Yep, and that was
Just,
back in the days with the
good
PS2, where you have the PS2, it's set to like load the disc automatically. You just press the reset button, it loads the game up, and you just watch the cutscene again.
You just watch cutscene again. Yeah, it was. I still go back and watch that cutscene. It's so.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Final Fantasy X is a masterpiece in my mind, but it has a really strong opening, like a really compelling mystery and like cool characters and no explanation for any of that shit. And you just kind of go along with it, and like you get to play Titus being like confused and like no idea what's going on, like that. A really really good like author avatar. Like even the first bit before, like, because there's that bit, and then there's the bit with the Albed straight afterwards, which is like you're alone in a ruin with people who don't speak your language, and they're forcing you to go and fight some things and do some weird shit, and then suddenly Sin shows up again, and you're on Besaid, and then the game really starts.
I think my last one is probably The Darkness.
Yeah. I mean, I think.
That might feel like a little bit of a longer intro.
Bit. I feel like The Darkness is just fucking fantastic all the way through, you know?
Yeah. We were talking about that the other day with that first achievement where you head through the tunnel.
The tunnel with the shotgun, yeah. And that was, it's a really interesting kind of thing. All the way, because I still remember a lot of good moments from that game, again, because I played it fucking like 4 times or whatever, because there was so many stacks. But, like, I'm just remembering like...
chasing that, though. The car chase.
The car chase, it's great, yeah. But I also remember like the scene in the church where you're waiting for the guy to block the light and all that kind of stuff, and those kind of there's just so much cool shit there. Red Ninja Jan says, Outside of Wilds had a good opening. That's what I've heard, actually. Yeah, like I've seen a lot of stuff around like you going to this location and finding that kid or whatever, and you got to hunt your first monster and ride the things and stuff.
I'm trying to think of one in the last 10 years that I really like. Just immediately like love. That isn't a remake or anything.
Oh, you had a couple of indie games that hooked you off the start.
Yeah, but I must get hooked on gameplay as opposed to.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying
like a
about
big set piece.
The Demon Souls, Dark Souls stuff. It's like the idea is to drive you to get better by making you die in the first 5 minutes. Just like what went wrong. I have to do something about this. And like, but. Or if you're really you've been playing those games forever, you're like, I'm not dying to this first boss. And you just struggle. You try to struggle through and kill it. So, yeah.
I'll probably back in the day, I probably would have said Skyrim. Like that opening. I mean, it's been memed to death now, right? But it had a really good opening in terms of like you're on the cart, they're going to execute you. Dragon shows up, shit goes wrong. And like nowadays, you look back and you're like, it's kind of like you can definitely see the strings and kind of how it's not super well put together. But back when that first came out, like in 2011, that was some crazy shit. I'm just kind of going through my list of like games I really, really enjoyed.
Alan Wake 2 is probably the one of the last. The two that come to mind. Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
But it's like it's not action. It's like, all right, mystery kind of.
Yeah, definitely real strong opening for that. Yeah, absolutely.
Like Twin Peaks.
Yeah, definitely. Yep, definitely agree. But I feel like that's kind of just like that's kind of almost like Control also is similar in that regard, right? It just has that like interesting intrigue to it that really hooks you.
And Doom 2016 was the other one I was going to say in the last 10 years.
Oh yeah, fuck yes. Yeah, that first level is. I mean, how just the fact that the music works with the shotgun click at the very beginning and just like that might be the perfect answer actually. It hits its tone perfectly. I'm just trying to remember this. Star Wars
recent.
Fallen Order was also quite good as well. The Star Wars games.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alan Wake 2, sure, Alien Isolation. Alien Isolation was pretty good, but I think I think
that was pretty slow at the start.
It was definitely a slower start, but I think it set the tone really well. But not in a way that I think works well for this kind of Game Pass TikTok generation stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, you know what? Split Fiction. Split Fiction had a really strong start because you went through multiple of the things of back and forth for like the first chapter or whatever to really get used to the idea before they lock you into one for like a couple hours. Yeah. No.
I feel like this is going to be the cop-out answer because I've only played it recently, but Expedition 33.
Yes, I mean, fuck that prologue. Again, it's not necessarily like an action prologue, but holy shit. Yeah, that's compelling stuff.
Just from the very start.
Yeah.
Well, Cameron, load up Final Fantasy 16 and tell me about that beginning. Before the intro, before the actual name of the game pops up on the screen.
The cold open is...
Isn't that like 3 hours?
It is like it's yeah. I'm playing through that. I'm playing through 16 at the moment, and I'm really fucking enjoying it. I know it's got problems, but fuck, that's good. And then Red Ninja Dan, just to finish up, also says the Dragon Age games, which I would agree with, like Dragon Age 1 for sure. You know, the fact that like each of the whatever character you make, their origin story is like it's probably some of the best writing and most interesting parts of those games. So much so that like you want to play through each of them, and then like immediately go into the Grey Warden big fight where everything goes to hell.
I even feel like the DLC, The Awakening, was pretty good.
Awakening is also fantastic. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Oh, how did I forget this? Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4's opening is the village stuff is so good and so fucking scary and shit that's one of those games that I put down for a long time because I was way too terrified to play that shit when I was too young.
My first experience with Resident Evil 4 was the Wii version, though. So.
Oh yeah, the Wii version was a good one.
It was a good one because I wanted that version because of the way you could control it. It was pretty 100%. Good aiming and stuff, but yeah. So I did fall off that version very quickly though. So
I guess it'll be interesting to see if we see more of these kinds of things being made or more of a focus put on that now that Game Pass is becoming, in Microsoft's mind at least, the de facto way to release games and for people to experience these games, and they want that to be the thing. Are we just going to have a lot of really strong openers for games that are like needing to grab people's attentions in the same way that, like you said, like a pilot needs to have a good hour straight up ahead, straight away?
Yeah. Well, in saying that, if that carries through to the rest of the game, great. I mean, like if they set up that and then keep it going, then fine. So, I'm happy with that. So
yeah, just make good games, guys. Easy.
Exactly. Make a good start of the game. It'll
I have an answer. I was trying to think of my perfect example of an indie one, but I can't explain my reasoning without spoiling it.
What is it?
Because the game is incredibly short. Little Misfortune.
Okay, well, I will check that because I still haven't.
Like, it is only a 2-hour game, but like the first 5 minutes intrigues you as to like why we're following this little girl.
Fair, yeah, that's totally fair.
Right.
Oh yeah, the Zero Escape games also like that whole genre of like mystery, that Spike Chunsoft mystery shit going on.
Yeah.
So much. I wish I could like fucking. It's one of the few series where I'm like, I wish I could just take this out of my brain and play it from scratch all over again because just the reveals are just so good. Anyway, let's move on. So there's been some more layoff news this week. I will just quickly touch on it because it is just kind of fucking depressing. But Civilization 7 for Access, they're laying off people. Basically, they're citing the need for optimization, so that's 2K kind of confirming that. Civilization 7 kind of came in a bit of a rough state. A lot of people were really unhappy with that game. To be fair, I don't think anyone's ever been happy with the Civilization when they come out. They're always, the talk is always like, wait a couple of years, wait an expansion, wait for a few updates for them to iron out all the problems. But this one came in very hot in terms of like not feeling done and kind of feeling like it's missing features. And I just, like I remember there was like Civilization 6 was quite contentious and there was a lot of discussion about it. I haven't heard anyone talking about Civ 7 at all. I actually completely forgot that it came out.
Yes, a lot of the discussion around 7 was basically just wait.
Yeah.
Like, it was received a lot worse than 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even, like I said, 6 was controversial. And so, like, this was just kind of feeling like no one liked it. And then we also have Dreamhaven, who is led by one of the Blizzard co-founders, also has layoffs. So Wildgate, which was that sort of spaceship versus spaceship kind of thing, multiplayer Overwatch style kind of game that came out maybe a month or two ago. They're also doing layoffs. Unfortunately, they just kind of haven't sold the numbers they need. For Wildgate, they only sold 130,000 copies since it launched in July. And then they also have another game called Thunderfolk, which was a multiplayer tactical RPG with smartphones, that kind of stuff. Apparently only sold 62,000. So got good reviews, but just not moving the needle. And I think that, I guess we'll see kind of what happens with this. Again, we've been hearing a lot about studios, like, studio heads and like old veterans and stuff leaving to form their own studios and do their own games and kind of do similar takes on the things that made them popular and just not getting the reach these days. Because I feel like the market is so different from when these people made games originally.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll kind of see if they have more coming out there. I know they have a couple more games that they're still working on, but yeah, so it's a bit unfortunate. NetEase also shut down an MMO studio that was apparently working on some stuff. We don't really know too much about it, but they basically said that it's no longer a priority for them. And there was also some news around Take-Two potentially going to swoop in and save Perfect Dark while it was on the rocks. I think, was it last week we talked about Crystal Dynamics laying off people because of this project being cancelled. And so Bloomberg has basically come out and said that there was apparently there was some sort of talks. They've been spent the initiative, who are the publishing the game in Crystal Dynamics, apparently have been spent like 2 months looking for a publisher and had some talks with Take-Two, but which it does feel like would probably be a good fit. Take-Two are kind of looking in that big, they've Strauss. Why am I suddenly blanking on his name? But Strauss, I can't remember his last name.
Isn't it like, is it Zelnick?
Zelnick? Strauss Zelnick, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
When he shut down Private Division and all that and was talking about, we're only interested in big hitters and AAA games and all that kind of stuff at 2K and Take-Two and all that kind of stuff. And so, it feels like the first quadruple A game would make some sort of sense to go for them, I guess, if they wanted a big hitter in that space.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunate. But apparently, just it all kind of fell apart. We don't know too much more else about it, but yeah.
Yeah. So basically, it fell through because the talks just fell through.
Yeah.
Regarding the long-term franchisee ownership, the thing I'm concerned about is Microsoft purchasing like IPs like Perfect Dark, and then they just go dark essentially because nothing ever gets done with them.
Yeah. It is Zelnick. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like I agree with you, Cameron. Although I think that them making a Perfect Dark game is more than a lot of publishers have done with their IP that they've just vaulted, right? Like EA has so many casualties in that space of IP that they've just kind of bought, cannibalized the studio, put them onto fucking Call of Duty, Battlefield support or other shit. And just kind of gone, we don't really need you anymore. Activision was the same way. Like
it just it seems stupid for Xbox to keep doing this though. When we're going into next year being the 25th anniversary. For Perfect Dark to obviously if Microsoft is bleeding money on the initiative and all that, I can understand them closing that studio and that.
Sure.
But nothing to stop Take-Two from, hey, we'll take over the project at Crystal Dynamics and then, Microsoft gets exclusivity for Xbox.
Yeah, but
Like,
again,
that kind
Microsoft's
of
not
thing,
even
right?
interested in that right now, right? They'll happily put it on PlayStation. I mean, it from what we heard of this in this case in particular for Perfect Dark, it sounded like they didn't have a game. Like it was all just smoke and mirrors, and like nothing was actually there after all this time.
Yeah, that seems that way. So
I'm wondering if it's like the fact that Take-Two weren't able to come to an agreement. Maybe that's something to do with like they just didn't have enough of a game there for Take-Two to go, yes, we want to support this, or it's like, hey, we're still in a concepting phase and we still have some ideas here, but no cohesive. Again, they didn't talk about story, they didn't talk about features or anything like that. It was literally like a vertical slice that they showed that apparently was not even real.
It's just rough though, because I feel like the Crystal Dynamics staff got the short straw.
Sure.
In all of it.
But to be fair, considering they're owned by Embracer, I think they were kind of fucked either way. Either it was Crystal Dynamics does this kind of work, or they get laid off because Embracer needs to cut costs and they're not greenlighting any new projects that aren't going to be big hitters. Like Crystal Dynamics apparently are still working on a new Tomb Raider game, and that's all they're going to be doing basically. We're not going to see another Kane and Lynch. We're not going to see any original IP, and we're unfortunately probably never ever going to see another
Legacy of
Kane game. Yeah, exactly. So. Which hurts me to my soul.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting to see that there were talks going on and that they were shopping it around, but I just feel like there wasn't a lot of confidence in the game after all of this time. You rock up to a publisher and you say, hey, we've been working on this for 10 years, here's all we've got. And they go, bro, you're going to need another 3 years in development. No publisher is going to pick that up without some short
and we're
thing.
talking Take-Two, who released so many games in a year period, like back in the PS2 days, over early Xbox 360 to them releasing GTA after like 10 years.
And let's not forget that like 2K have their own problems right now, right? With like BioShock is another game like this for them, where Cloud Chamber have been working on this game for 10 years almost or something.
Yeah.
And apparently they just replaced, they just had layoffs there. They replaced the head of. They've now got what's his face from Gears and then to Blizzard and then to this. I'm suddenly blanking on his name, but doing that, and now he's trying to right that ship, and so that's they've obviously got a bit of an albatross around their neck on that, and then they've got Judas as well, which is Ken Levine's thing, which still hasn't come out yet. But might do. Apparently, there's some talk around it at the moment, so maybe next year. But yeah, I feel like 2K are also like, fuck, we don't have they have their own problems in terms of games that are just not coming out. I mean, I hope Borderlands 4 does really well for them. I'm sure it will, but yeah.
I'm interested in Borderlands 4.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I really want to see how that goes because I really enjoy 3. I enjoy 3 a lot more than I thought I would. So I guess we'll see.
I feel like it's going to be one of those games that feeds into the comfort of playing something familiar.
Sure,
but new.
With friends. Comfort co-op game. Yeah, for sure. And not going to be $80 apparently, so that's good. All right, Cameron, you want to talk about Silksong?
What would you like me to say?
I mean, have you played it? Is it good?
You're about halfway through it. Yeah, no.
Yeah, because you said you were going to finish Hollow Knight, right? That was the deal.
I've tried. I've been so tempted today to start it. I've had so many conversations with other people today about how amazing it is. I can't do this to myself. I will get engrossed and I will not touch anything until the wedding, and that would be bad.
Fair.
That's good. You're supposed to, after the marriage, not before. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so yeah,
what's going on?
Long anticipated sequel from Australian independent studio Team Cherry has made such a large impact on its day one release that Steam was having issues, Nintendo eShop was having issues, and the Xbox Store was having issues.
And the PlayStation Store. And apparently everyone was having issues with it, apparently. And like apparently PayPal was having issues. Like it's crazy.
The amount of meme content I saw today was just like, I can't beat the first stage
boss,
of
yeah.
And it was literally them just trying to buy the game through Steam.
I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. Like, okay, I knew this was going to be a big release, right? Obviously, because it's the most wish-listed game on Steam. But I was still like, it's still just an indie game. I know there's a huge amount of hype, but I've never seen anything like this before.
Other games move their releases out of the way for it. The fact that this game released on a Thursday evening in the States and it has a concurrent player count maxing out at 530,000. It's just, it's crazy, right?
Yeah,
like
it's actually insane
for an indie team, like a small indie team, to achieve a level of success this big is just incredible. Like, I don't know what else you say to it.
I mean, yeah, like AAA studios would love this kind of problem, right? Like this is the kind of thing where it's like you don't see games like this. You don't see responses like this. You don't see zeitgeist. I mean, shit. Like obviously you get things like this year. Obviously, Expedition 33 has been huge. We've had like some big popular games, but this just blows it out of the water in terms of like the collective people just been waiting and just desperate to play this thing. I don't even know if it's good. I'm sure it is, but like
it's crazy to me though, because like obviously, from what I've played of Expedition 33, I can understand the Game of the Year discussion.
Sure.
Like every video I've seen today is like, if you thought Expedition 33 was Game of the Year, you're mistaken. Silksong is the Game of the Year. All and right. I'm like, all right, I've seen 2 separate videos on that now. Very fucking bold claim.
What? To be fair, it gets clicks, right?
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah, it gets click. Yeah, I get that. But it's just like, all right, you're building the hype up a bit. I really want to play it. I don't want to play it, though, without doing the first one, because I feel like I'm doing myself a disservice. But it's at a level now that I'm like, all right, where's the breakthrough of this? Am I going to run somebody down the street and they're going to tell me about Silksong and have more knowledge about it than GTA?
Yeah.
Like, it's that level of hype to me at the moment.
Yeah. I got that from work today as well, actually. So there was at least one person that mentioned Silksong. Have you downloaded Silksong yet? No, I haven't. But...
So I guess, I guess the story is that it's nuts and it's crazy. The next question is, are you guys going to play it? Like, is this, like, has this changed? Again, there are no reviews out yet because they didn't put out review code for it. So the reviews will come probably in the next week or so. Yeah. Probably over the weekend. Again, because I don't think it's a super long game. I think it's about 30 hours or so.
I think I can't remember thinking the first one or the second one, but like just playing the game is 4 hours.
Sure, yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I get like for doing that kind of playthrough. But when I checked earlier, it's at 16,000 reviews now. 96%.
Overwhelmingly positive. Yeah, no fucking surprise.
Yeah. Well, I just went into the Xbox app and hit download. So
yeah, okay. So you can be our test dummy for this because I want to hear as many opinions about this as possible. Because I'm interested, but I'm also not. I haven't bought, like, the hype cycle hasn't caught me in that same way yet. I'm still maybe a couple of steps removed from most people on this, but I am also known as the man with the rubber arm. I can definitely be peer pressured into playing just about anything. So
yeah.
I mean, I'm just equally as hyped of them doing the Acme Games World exhibit. I think at the end of this month in Melbourne. I really want to go and see that exhibit. Because they're doing like that. They're doing Neopets. They're doing... What were the other games? There's a whole bunch of like Aussie games that looked pretty good. World of Warcraft, The Sims. I'm just going to, getting that like behind the scenes look at Silksong as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think, yeah, I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot of interesting stories around the development and kind of as this kind of.
Yeah.
I guess this probably brings us on to another point. There's been a lot of talk around the price for this game. So they announced it was $20 US. And again, I don't want to be like, oh my God, people were freaking out. Because again, it's a few people, it's a few developers, but there was some discussion. So, and they're loudest voices and all that sort of stuff. But there was some discussion around if this is going to impact how people view games and the value of games going forward. When something like Silksong can charge $20, but I saw a few people being like, hey, I'm also working on like a Metroidvania game. I want to charge like $30 for this. It's probably about the same length, if not maybe a bit shorter. Like, I don't know how I feel about this. And like, obviously, game developers can publish their games for whatever price they want. But there is obviously a market. And when you have the most hyped game of the last 5 years, coming out and charging only $20 for it, do you think that impacts other people in that same sort of indie space? I mean, obviously the AAA space will always be its own thing. They're always trying to fight to get everything up to $80. Whereas the indie space, they've been trying to the indie space has definitely been trying to find the right price for games for a long time.
Yeah.
So, what was the Game Pass bag for this? It's like, how much money did they feed?
I imagine a lot. I imagine it was
because they pushed a lot of hype onto this game.
Yeah,
right?
They did for sure.
So, yeah. So I mean, like, and that could have compensated for a lot of it. Maybe it didn't, but maybe it did. So we're not gonna know. So
I mean, realistically, right? If you look at how much they sold for Hollow Knight originally, theoretically they don't need any more money. Like if they were smart about all the money, they again, we're estimating here, but the amount of money they would have gotten for all the sales they got for Hollow Knight. Yeah. It's with a studio that small, with the funds, with the profits being split between, I think it was like 3 devs back then, right? You could basically make enough potentially to be comfortable for the rest of your life. So they're in a privileged position of like, we had enough money to be able to work on this game for 6 years.
Yeah.
And like, we can release it at $20 because we want more people to play it, because people are excited about it, and we don't feel like we need to put that price up to make up the money, because we'll make it in volume. And they will fucking make it in volume, obviously. They've already sold over 500,000 units in the day.
And even just on just the first game on Game Pass had like 155% increase or something of downloads and people playing.
Yeah.
So how many more people bought the first game leading into this?
Yeah.
So
Hollow Knight has to date sales of 15 million.
Yeah, exactly. Like that is an insane number for an indie studio, especially one as small as that.
All right, so knowing that Valve takes a 30% cut on any sales on Steam,
sure,
I'm in two minds about this, because as a consumer, $20, great, right?
Perfect. I agree.
Having stuff like Game Pass and all that, lower barrier to entry, everybody can get in the conversation. I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
The flip side is, I know that 50% of indie games that come out do struggle to break $4,000 US in terms of sales.
Yeah.
The more each year, more games are releasing, and the thing I'm concerned about is that we're getting to a point that there's too much oversaturation in the industry because everybody wants to make something. That sustainability is a major concern.
Yeah.
Especially with studios shutting down left, right, and center.
For sure.
I do think personally that gaming is going more the way of other forms of art, right? You think of music, you think of Spotify, you think of that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
COVID affect artists, couldn't perform, couldn't make a livelihood. I do think a lot of artists now aren't producing music in that anymore because there's just no livelihood when it comes to...
Yeah.
I do think gaming is pretty much the same.
Yeah, I could, and again, we've had this like a similar discussion around Game Pass, right? Around the idea of like if gaming habits change, which they don't seem to be, but from like the other week's reports around like the Game Pass effect doesn't seem to actually exist. But if people get used to getting the games through subscriptions and through streaming them and that sort of stuff, the same way they do through music and through TV and movies, then yeah, you're right. Like it becomes a thing of like, well, the margin just isn't there because people aren't paying the upfront dollar for whatever amount it is. And the only reason Game Pass works is because Microsoft tops it up with the money that they need. But
I mean, it's a safe bet. Like it is we'll take this to support sustainability when it comes to the studio and all that.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, they'll definitely take that. Yeah, they'll take that money up front because it makes more sense for them to be like, we don't know if there's going to be a big hit.
Take a risk.
Yeah. Which I think when you come to indie games, right, you spend a lot of time making those for them to do nothing.
So
I just wanted to add one quick point too. I think it's why we're seeing in the indie space franchises like IP franchises when it comes to like Hades and Call of the Lamb and stuff like that now, because it's much safer to build, like you've built up this IP, it's done well.
Sure.
Rather than moving towards a new project unless you really think you need to. You may as well bank on that brand, that recognition.
And looking at the AAA titles coming from Microsoft at the moment, like there's a bad reputation amongst all of the games in development, basically. Like, and saying that, Perfect Dark, like, you know, to top that off is just like, there's nothing coming from some of these games. So, like, yeah, Gears of War 1 will sell a whole bunch of stuff on PlayStation again now. But that's because Gears is on PlayStation. People aren't buying it because it's Gears, they're buying it because it's Gears on PlayStation.
That's true.
So
a lot of them have never played it before. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess the question is like how do we think E-Day is going to do? I think compared to that, right? Like when E-Day comes out as like the next actual Gears game that no one's seen before. Like, is that going to sell well? Is there an interest? I don't know.
It's interesting for me because I think we might get like what's the best way to put this? I think if Xbox can pull their marketing off right, there is going to be like a big nostalgia hit over the next 1 to 2 years when it comes to if we're getting the reported Halo CE remake, if we're getting Fable, if we're getting Gears, they're going to be like, oh, you know, remember 20 years ago.
Remember when we were good.
Yeah.
I do think it's very much going to be these are the classic IPs and all that. I feel like a lot of players will view it rose-tinted glasses.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair. I think definitely, you know, people are still interested in a lot of this stuff. I still would like to play new Gears if it's good. I would love, like, I'm still interested in Fable, even though it looks a bit rough. Yeah, I'm definitely of that camp, right? Like, I grew up, like, the 360 is the reason I'm doing this podcast today. So, like, I definitely have a love for that time period and having games come out from around then.
Yeah.
I think the other thing, too, is, like, because we have access to... it might be an adult thing, it might be the Game Pass thing, but as adults, we have so much access to different games than that now.
Yeah.
I think also the fact is, like, when I think back to the 360 area, it's like you've saved a paycheck. You have a personal investment in this product.
Sure.
Even if you don't think it's good, you
pay money.
You're trying to convince yourself. Yeah.
100%, right? And like I was mostly I'm immune to that. I was in a quite privileged position at working at a game store, is that I got to try a lot of stuff and not have to put money down for it, right? Or at least not too much. But yeah, I definitely think that there's that behavior of like, we've talked about this a few times where it's like, if you buy a game, you're probably more invested in spending time in it. And again, we know no one finishes games, right? Like we know that like as a whole, most people don't get to the end of a video game. We can see it from Steam achievements. We've heard it from like back in like even like Mass Effect 1 days. I remember they were talking about like how no one got to fighting Sovereign at the end of that game, whatever. Except for us, obviously, because we're sickos. But like now it's like with the like, you know, TikTok kind of generation style like attention, and then this whole Game Pass thing around like the barrier to entry being so low, less people are even finished the tutorial of games at this point. And so the value of a game seems to be like dissipating a little bit. You know, people.
I struggle. Yeah. I struggled with that for years, like running a games department, getting promotional games, all that kind of stuff. I have a wallet of so many games that I haven't played, just because I found more value in the stuff that I purchased, that I put money into, to actually to play, right? So there really is something there about where the value of your own mindset with your, you know, your dollar value and all that kind of stuff, where that's going. So,
Ickles, our friend Ickles in the chat says, I'm in that category of unfinished games with a completion percentage of 50%. 50% completion percentage is good these days. Like with the amount of games you have access to and the amount you can jump between them, and then when you have something like Silksong come out for $20, people are going to go, oh, cool, I can just sweet, that fits into like my month of Game Pass or whatever, right? I think to your point, but to wrap this up, is I know that people are slightly worried about the value of games and that going down, and there is a lot of choice out there, but to be harsh about it, like, no game deserves to succeed, right? Like, there are a lot of games I wish would do better, right? But in this capitalist hellhole that we live in, it's not a true meritocracy. I mean, obviously, if your game is good, you have a better chance of it doing well than if it's bad. But so much of it is around like timing and price and competition and market conditions and all that other bullshit. So much of it you just can't control. And so when these devs are like, oh, I want to charge more for this game, it's like, well, you either go with the market and you try to match it, or you try and go against it and make something so good that people feel like it's worth paying for.
Yep. There's a reason why Elden Ring and like Hogwarts Legacy fit the holes that they filled, right? So
and people pay full price for them. Yeah.
It's funny you raise that point, because the piracy subreddit today was making posts about Silksong of just like, no, this game is good enough that you do not pirate this game. You pay the developers what they've earned.
Yeah, and if it's $20, like it's almost
$20 is like perfect, like disposable.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to do it kind of decision.
Yeah.
All right. I might just skip that last story, but a Game of Thrones star is now going to... Sophie Turner is now going to be the next Tomb Raider in the movie that's being made next year.
Yeah, it's Lara Croft.
Lara Croft, yep. So that's so Amazon's working on that. Well, we don't really know more about it. They just announced it today, so I guess we'll see, but that's pretty much it.
They can't get... Angelina Jolie, they can't get Camilla Luddington. Like, what
I mean, maybe you never know.
Who are Lara Croft?
I mean, Hayley Atwell did the animated version, at least.
Oh yeah, true. What's Alicia? We haven't seen those new ones, have we?
No, I mean, I've seen them a long time ago, but Alicia Vikander.
Yeah, I think that's right.
It was based on the reboot, the first one, with Himiko. All right, Game Pass updates. Cameron, do you want to read through those?
Yeah. So we have available today I Am Your Beast, which I'm very interested in checking out, looks like it's going to be a difficult one.
Yeah,
actually,
it's got S ranks in it, so you'll love it.
Most of the games this month are pretty difficult. I got I Am Your Beast, I've got 9 Souls, Hollow Knight Silksong, and Cataclysmo, which I'm really pumped for.
Looks really cool. It's PC only for Cataclysmo at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that has been one of those games on Steam that I've been ready to check out for a while. September 10th, we have Paw Patrol World, which I think is re-entering.
Yeah, it's just coming back. It's that one that we left about 6 months ago, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then September 16th, we have Roadcraft. Leaving, we have All You Need Is Help, which
sucks.
Unless you got 4 friends.
Don't do it. It's bad. It's actually a bad game. I would not waste your time with it.
Yeah, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Wargrove 2 and We Love Katamari Reroll Royal Reverie, which I think I've started. I need to get done.
Yeah, We Love Katamari is definitely the easiest of that list, and it's easier than the original as well in terms of completion. So if you are going to play a Katamari game, that's the one to do.
Yep, I have started. I need to get that done. Yeah.
We also have the Patreon, patreon.com/HallOfGamers. If you want to help support the show, it allows us to do this, basically. All the money goes straight back into hosting. Don't worry, we're not retiring anytime soon. But a huge thank you to Old Mate Clown, Cavaliero7, Hack and Pone, Kung Fu Skills, Happy Moogles, Admiral Awesome, Natolinator, Lee Howard, Left Legacy, and Venom's AU. I try to say it quickly because I know people skip this part. But we literally could not afford to do the show without you guys, so thank you so much. Any extra content that we do, so like the sort of before and after, behind the scenes stuff that we discuss after we finish recording, or after we're off the air, I put that together. It's usually like 20, 30 minutes of extra content each week. So if you are a Patreon, you don't know about it, check it out. But if you'd like to become a Patreon, we make that available at all tiers. So whether you give like $2 or $5 or $10, all that content's available. If you just want to help support the show, we want to give you back a little bit extra. So thank you so much. All right. Keo, do you want to give us the theme for this month?
Yes. So our bimestral burden for September and October, which was announced last week, I believe, is Creature Feature. So play games where your main character is...
Well, it's a good fucking question, because I said non-humanoid last week, and I got a bunch of complaints from a bunch of whingy little bitches who said, well, where there aren't enough non-humanoid games. I don't want to have to play Spyro or a game where I play as a horse or something.
Yeah. This is, by the way, people he had to spend time in a party with. I
got berated for this because apparently all the games that Stubby had already picked were no longer viable. So we've now changed it so that it's any game where you play as a non-human, basically.
Yeah.
So a creature, a living creature of some kind.
So, and that kind of fits going into October with, your typical scary stuff as well. So, I mean, there's a few things that...
Vampires.
That'll ramp up a little bit with that, but... Yeah, so you can be a little bit humanoid now, but you just we'll throw the shots at you when you complete your games, and we'll let you know if it fits. So.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you say Gears of War does not count, it's like just because they're from Sarah, a different planet, doesn't mean they're not humans. Like, don't give me that bullshit. I'm watching.
They're not aliens.
I'm watching. Yeah. They gotta have like weird fucking like gotta be like bird people crossovers or weird mutants or ghosts or some other shit. To count for this, so I want to see, and even then, the undead probably don't count for this either because they're not technically living.
Oh yeah. There's definitely like a creature, from the Black Lagoon, right?
Perfect.
That's
100%. Yeah, Swamp Thing. Go for
but
it.
It's a creature, exactly right. So yeah, and you can't play as Batman.
No, Batman is unfortunate. Like, he has man in the name, so he's like if there was a man bat game, that would count though. But speaking of what we've been playing, let's get into it. Who wants to go first? Cameron, what do you got?
I've been playing World. The only opinion that's changed since the last week is the collectibles suck. I've been trying to find the Lone Riders. The last one I've been missing for like 2 to 3 hours. I've got one achievement left. I'm gonna take a break from it. That's all I've been playing this week.
Yeah. Well, funny that, because you were doing your 10-minute run. And yesterday morning, I had a little session with Death Jester. He'd wrangled someone up that had a session for Band Hero.
Oh, wow.
So we loaded up to do like a couple of the random achievements that needed a few people because we'd struggled before. We've mentioned that Cameron and I had an issue connecting. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, hey, Cameron, are you around for just like, let's just try this Band Hero thing again? So we had 4 people going and we get that last bit of multiplayer knocked out, and we did that, and after that still had trouble connecting to Cameron, just by myself when we tried to connect, which is kind of annoying because like you need 555 stars in that game, and some of it's tied to playing 1 player, 2 player, as multiple band things, so it helps if you're doing co-op and stuff like that too. And funny, within half an hour of us finishing that session off, I had somebody else had seen I'd played the game and went, oh, so Band Hero, huh? So I'm like, all right. So
moths to a flame.
Yeah, exactly right. So I'll continue with the stuff I've done then. So 2 of the co-op games that I finished last month were It Takes Two and Split Fiction. So we finished Split Fiction off, I think, Actually, since I was on the last podcast, because I think I ended up with COVID, and that was interesting because it was just after a session of Split Fiction, and I was down for days, which also screwed up my playthrough of Borderlands 3 Windows, because the whole plan was to spend 2 weeks playing Borderlands 3, and I was down for the count. I could not do anything for days and days. I maybe loaded up Need for Speed Rivals and did like 1 or 2 races, and I'm like, no, this is it. So that last week I spent pretty much just slamming Borderlands 3, finished the main story, and I basically had to leave it there. I got Death Jester in to do a couple of the things like just the random multiplayer stuff, and he helped me through the Circles of Slaughter. Just because he was like level 70 something and over leveled, and really helped me out with those. And because there's a glitch on Borderlands PC where if you do the podcast missions with Ava, then there's the third out of the fourth mission has a glitch where you, at the end of the mission, kill the boss of the area, and Claptrap is supposed to go up some stairs and then open a door, and he gets stuck at the bottom of the stairs, and he's just stuck there. It's like because they have to go through like each of the dialogue pieces, and you've just along the way missed like a track of dialogue, and it won't progress, which means you can't open the door, so you can't finish the mission. So for shits and giggles, I'm like, well, last day on Game Pass, I'm just gonna see if I get that glitch, and I got the glitch. Mm-hmm. So now I'm stuck without being able to even do that mission unless I play in somebody else's console version of the game, apparently. So if you play with somebody on the console, pairing up with matchmaking or whatever for that mission, then you can effectively bypass like the glitch, because it doesn't do the glitch on console.
Right, so they just host and they just invite you in. Okay, interesting.
Exactly, yeah. So other than that, I haven't been doing a whole lot more. I did load up Helldivers and play the tutorial. I did not get very far. Like, the first night I did it, I did the tutorial, but I was on my phone, and then there was so much stuff on the screen that I couldn't tell if it was matchmaking or not.
Right.
So when I went and actually did it on a screen, like a proper like monitor, it turns out that was like the tutorial. You had to manually drop down and do like an introduction to it. After the tutorial, you had to go down and do like a couple of things and then extract yourself, and then the matchmaking button pops up. So I missed that. So I'm at that point where I've started it, but I haven't actually done anything in the game yet. So haven't done a full group run or anything. So but yeah, other than slogging through Need for Speed Rivals on both platforms, 360 and 1, doing a bit more Alien Breed. We got stuck on Alien Breed 2 trying to do one of the achievements again, which is similar to what happened last time I mentioned it. But Need for Speed Rivals is interesting with the between the 360, knowing that it doesn't have as much like AI and stuff like that, and like physics, and it's kind of a little bit harder because I guess it's when I've played the Xbox One version, you can barrel into things and they'll go flying and all this kind of stuff, and like you can actually trick the AI into dealing with things differently. But on the 360, if you take out all of the enemies and all that kind of all of the other cars in a race, I'm at the final race of the racer category, you just get nailed by the cops. And like it is brutal in some of those races where it's just like you're trying to finish that final 10-minute race because you have to do it 3 times because you've got 3 different set lists of 20 objectives. There's 60 objectives.
Yeah, right.
Then yeah, and just because the way that the AI works is toned down that little bit, that's more like, I guess, grounded, because you can't like cheat your way through physics and all that kind of stuff. Then it's kind of a little bit tougher.
Okay.
So, yeah, but yeah, still working my way through them, and the game's fine. It just takes a little bit of time you just check boxing these objectives now. So it's like do 800-meter jumps and all kinds of stupid things. So, but yeah, it's fine. But that's me. So, yeah.
Sweet. I've been playing a fair bit this week. I've been working pretty hard at stuff. So more Zombie Army. We got to the end of that, the main campaign, and we did it on Nightmare, and we've done all the Horde maps and stuff. So now we're just cleaning up DLC. There's way too much fucking DLC for this game. Still having a good time with it. It is definitely. Yeah, I think I'm kind of done with it though. Like I'm kind of like, oh cool. I think I've had all the Zombie Army that I really want to do, but we'll try and clean up that DLC pretty quickly.
Yeah, we were done at like 2:30 a.m. for you on that.
Yeah, it was that last mission on Nightmare was really tough, but I was absolutely shattered by the end of that.
Yeah.
Also finished up Plucky Squire, so I was basically right towards the end of that game last week. I don't think my opinion's changed. I think the last level is probably the most interesting part of that game, and I think there's some stuff that kind of goes on, but I feel like it definitely doesn't stick the landing. And it just feels like really missed opportunity. Like I said last week, I feel like there was some really interesting ideas they just don't capitalize on. And for a game that took this long to make and had this much hype behind it, I was a bit surprised at how kind of shallow it is, unfortunately. It really feels like the sort of the book part and the outside the book part are very distinct pieces, and they don't really interact that much. Like there's some puzzle stuff, but yeah, I was hoping the narrative would be a bit more interesting too, because it's like there seems like so much they could do with it, they just don't. But anyway. I also finished up Barbie, so I hit my milestone of 2.6 million. The Barbie game was fine. It's a bunch of fetch quests. But there is one thing I do want to mention. There is a mission where you have to go and set up an ice cream machine for one of the mini games that turns into Overcooked, where you need to like make orders for people. And you have to find a code for it. And I got the code, and I was like, wait a minute. Is this? So the code is 0451. Now, for our big fucking nerds at home, those will recognize that code because that is the code that is used in a lot of games, but basically started in System Shock and Deus Ex and all those kinds of any sort of immersive sims and all those kinds of games as the very first code you put into every single door is 0451. There's even an achievement, I believe, in Human Revolution where in the tutorial mission, if you just, because they don't give you the code, if you just put that code into one of the doors, you get like an extra weapon and an achievement. Right. So it's in everything. And I was like, I can't believe they put this in a fucking Barbie game of all things. They managed to sneak in the sort of prerequisite code. But yeah, the game was fine. I hit my milestone. It was completely painless. I did it like in 2 sittings or whatever. So I'm up to 2.6 million. It's probably going to be a good while before I hit 2.7. But I think my next sort of pseudo milestone should be 5 million True Achievement score. So we'll see how that goes. Got to keep playing that high ratio stuff. I also started Spray Paint Simulator as just kind of a mindless game when the TV's been taken from me and I just have my PC and I'm just kind of like going around and painting things. It's like the reverse of a power simulator. It's fine. It's really mindless. The main thing... Oh, and also Final Fantasy 16. Still working on that. Made a bit more progress. You want to talk about games that like do crazy set pieces and shit? Final Fantasy 16 is the game of this. Like, it's one of the best looking crazy games I've ever played. Again, I don't want to give any spoilers, but of course, like the icons, which are the big like summons and that sort of stuff, are the big battles. And so I just did one of those last night that was insane. Like I thought it was going to be crazy, and they just amped it up. So yeah, really, really cool. I think we're getting into like the sort of towards the end of the second act. I think things are starting to ramp up a little bit. Things that, like, starting to learn a few things here and there, and like the secret stuff is starting to become uncovered. So really, really interested to play more of that. Just kind of chipping away at that because again, everyone wants to be here to see the story, so it's been kind of slow going.
Yeah.
I also played Neva, I think it is. Which is from the same developers as Grease, which was that game that was about grieving and loss and kind of going through the stages of grief. This is a game that's about seasons, and so you basically play as a protector, a girl with a sword who has a little wolf called Neva, and basically is going through the world throughout the seasons as this rot seems to be killing but also preserving things. It seems to be like, again, there's definitely underlying messages under this shit that I'm just too dumb to get. But it is an absolutely gorgeous game. It's only about maybe 3 or 4 hours. There are quite a few collectibles, but it's absolutely beautiful. And it plays well, and there's like an easy mode if you just kind of want to have like no death and just kind of just play through the story. There's a decent amount of combat, bit of puzzle solving. Really, really well made game. Highly, highly recommended. I think it's just fantastic. I would, love to hear what people think about it, but it is absolutely gorgeous. And then the last one I played was the casting of Frank Stone, which is the Dead by Daylight tie-in from the Supermassive guys, the guys who do the Dark Pictures anthology games. Finished that up this afternoon. I think it's an okay story. I think it's, if you like Dead by Daylight, it's definitely, it's full of Dead by Daylight, references and things like that and interesting shit. But overall, there's not really a lot to it. It's definitely a shorter experience than your sort of standard Dark Pictures game, but they make up for it by making you play through every variation of every scene in the game for one of the achievements. So that means basically going back to every decision point and kind of making a different decision. But there are some where it's you make a decision in chapter 4 that pays off in chapter 12. So you need to sometimes play all the way from that point upwards. So you do basically one playthrough trying to get as much as you can, one playthrough to try and get everyone to survive at the end, and then you just start killing them off because you also need the variations of every ending of these 5 characters, everyone survived. These 4 characters survived. This variation of these 3. Now swap one of them out for the ones you killed, for the ones you lived. There's 16 variations of that fucking ending. I sat through, and again, there's no skip button. There's none of that shit. You basically have to start the last chapter, and thankfully you can jump around a little bit. They have a thing called the cutting room floor that allows you to see all the variations, so visually you can kind of get there. But I sat through the final chapter probably about 25 times, based on trying to get everyone killed in the various situations, trying to get all the endings, trying to make sure that I had all the stuff from the previous chapters. It's a fucking mess and a huge slog that really, really ruined that fucking game for me. Overall, I would have probably given it a 7 out of 10. It's a 5. I think that there's just not enough in it to make it worth doing. And if I was an achievement hunter and I was just playing through once, but again, it's not even about achievement hunting, right? Because I feel like a lot of these games, the value is finding those variations and the changes and kind of it's all about decision making. But I just feel a lot of it doesn't pay off.
It's mind map the game.
Yeah, it is. That's literally what it is. Essentially, is mind map the game, and it's just, if they had a fast forward button or a skip through cut dialogue or scenes I've already seen before, or skip to the next decision or whatever, this game would have been just fine. They could have done the visual novel thing because that's essentially what it is. It's a visual novel, with some quick time events in it. But anyway, yeah, I'm just really, really not impressed by it. I mean, I do like Supermassive stuff. I'm very excited for the new Dark Pictures game, the space alien thing one. But yeah, is what it is. But yes, I've been playing a lot this week. I've been trying to make up for the last couple of weeks where I've just not been playing enough. So I've been trying to get really into things. I did start one other game, but I will talk about that next week because I don't have enough time in it yet. But
yeah,
I think that's everything. Anything else? Or are we good to move on?
I think we're good.
Fantastic. So we also have the word challenge, everyone's favorite competition where I come up with a game and then the GIF fucking works this time if someone guesses it. And I give you a clue every week and you go onto our Discord and try and guess what the game is. So the first clue was this was a handheld game. Second clue was take place in the USA. Clue 3 was has a number in the title. And the fourth clue, which basically gives it away, is this game uses rotoscoping. Which, if you don't know what rotoscoping is, Google it, because I'm probably not smart enough to explain it. But it's basically to do with copying over an image basically adding an image to a video. But it's a very tedious work. And so the game was, of course, Hotel Dusk Room 215, which is a very cool, very interesting point-and-click adventure from the DS days, where you basically hold your DS like a book, and so you write on one side with notes and tap on stuff with the touchscreen, and you kind of read the dialogue on the other side. It has a really, really cool art style. They also had a sequel that came out for it. The company that made it is long gone. But if you've never heard of this game before, go and check out a YouTube video of it, just to get an idea of it. I don't know how well it's aged these days, because again, it was an original DS game, but I fucking loved it. So of course, Left for Legacy, our wonderful Patreon and Word Challenge champion at this point, managed to get it immediately. So obviously he watches the show pretty much live. So congratulations to him. I will have a new game for you guys next week, so keep an eye out. Leaderboard, Keo, do you want to go through that?
Yeah, so we have a Grey Shark in third place with 11,350, Thrash Forever in number 2 for 26,420, and Northern Lass at 39,036. So that's a big week.
That's another big week.
Yeah, almost like there's almost more there than you putting 26 hours into casting a Frank Stone in 2 days.
Exactly. Yeah, so, that's crazy.
Yeah. Mm.
Cameron, completions?
Yeah, Stubby did Split Fiction, Expedition 33. Leaf Claw did Call of Duty, Modern Warfare. Ickle did Real World. Screw you.
He really liked it. That's what he said.
Drag Frame did Borderlands 3. Dish did Halo MCC, which is great completion. Stupid Bob did Trivial Pursuit Live. Shane did Cloudpunk, and Alpha D Pills did Alan Wake.
Nice work,
Classic,
guys.
not the remastered, I believe.
Yes, I believe. Yeah, he just did the original 360 version. All right. I think that's pretty much going to bring us to the end of the show. As always, hit us up on Discord. It's the best place to find us. Come say hi. We do the show live. Xbox Call of Gamers. But yeah, and also check out the YouTube. I always forget to say this, but yeah, YouTube, we upload the VODs. So if you want to check out the old episodes, see the funny title names and the great thumbnails that Char does, check those out. But let's get around to shelling. Anything you want to shell, Cameron?
I'm getting married in 2 weeks.
Jeez,
I'll try and fit some gaming in over the weekend.
I need to get around to that too.
I got told by Stevie that you two had done everything. That's what I got told.
Look, I have ideas. I have nothing written on paper.
Yeah. So, and I, as you can tell from this podcast, is really good at ad hocing things. So, so let's see where a few drinks get me. Eh?
Yeah, exactly. So, anything you want to?
Thank you, Allison.
You can just find me at Keel Live at Home pretty much everywhere, and at how to Fix Gaming on YouTube. So, yeah.
Fantastic. And I'm Neomaster on everything True Achievements, Xbox, and Discord as always. A huge thank you to my co-host, our wonderful patrons, our listeners and viewers at home, and Char for doing our wonderful support behind the scenes. That's been episode 183. We will catch you guys next week. See you later.
Peace out.
Bye, everyone.